Sean Dyche, when you look at it, right, what will Burnley do now? Who's next for Burnley? But what's next, Martin, for Sean Dyche?
I don't see, and this is not really fair on Sean Dyche for what he's done and what he's achieved. He's been linked with lots of jobs over the years, other jobs, maybe the Brighton job, the Palace job, even the Everton job, and it's never been forthcoming. It seems as if if he gets back to the Premier League, he'll have to do it on his own merit. He'll have to get a team up from the Championship back into the Premier League, and he can stay there for many years. But it doesn't seem as if that there's enough attraction for Sean Dyche, whether it's the forced 4-4-2 system, the way that he's perceived to be. I think with a bigger budget, a different situation, different calibre of player, I still think he could be successful. But he's kind of been pigeonholed really as this type of manager, and I think that's gone against him.
But you don't think he gets another job in the Premier League?
Not instantly, no. I think he's one of those who's going to have to earn the right to get back there. You look at Chris Wilder, he left. They had a very successful couple of years, didn't they? Sheffield United. He's had to do it now. He's at Middlesbrough trying to get back again. I think he's going to be one of those. They may say that's because, a foreign manager, so to speak, might be more attractive. But sometimes people look at these English managers and I think it's difficult for them to get that instantly back into the Premier League.
Yeah, but, Simon, his Premier League credentials are undeniable. 9 years, 166 days in charge, the longest-serving manager in the Premier League, the third longest-serving in the English Football League.
Yeah.
This guy knows exactly the environment in which he's working.
Well, he does, and that's his environment where he's head cook and bottle washer. That doesn't mean that you can take him out of that environment like Alan Kirbishley and make him successful somewhere else. Now, Alan went on to West Ham. It was okay at West Ham, but it was never quite the same as it was at Charlton because the dynamics of it changed. You can take Steve Coppell out of Crystal Palace and put him somewhere else, and it wasn't quite the same, albeit he had some success at Reading, and I have to give credit to that. But the bottom line is that it depends upon the opportunities that come up and who and where they land. Sean Dyche, if I look through the prism of an owner and look at Sean Dyche, I know Sean Dyche would have walked to Crystal Palace a few years ago, but I didn't want to talk to him. And that's profile and positioning and people's perspective of it. I have become more and more enamoured with Sean Dyche over the last year, 18 months, because I think he speaks more sense than most of the football managers put together. Now, the difficulty is where does that sense land? Now, Hassan Hüttl, Southampton. Out he goes at some point because he's talked about going out of Southampton in the next couple of years, and you can see a fit like that.
Right.
But you can see Sean being in the pitch for that. Now, how Sean interviews and how Sean puts himself across, because there'll be two commodities. He ain't walking in the door anywhere. Irrespective of his 9 years at Burnley or 10 years at Burnley and however many of those have been in the Premier League, the challenge and the tragedy for Sean, and I think it's right as well because no other industry just takes people on reputation, is that he won't get a job just on reputation. He'll have to get a job on reputation and on the way that he presents himself in the eyes of those that interview him.
Well, listen, let me interrupt you for a second, Simon. What is the difference, tell me, between Sean Dyche and Eddie Howe? Eddie Howe, long time associated with Bournemouth.
Yep.
Sean Dyche, long time associated with Burnley. Eddie Howe gets his chance. Newcastle, in he goes. They've stayed up, or they certainly look as if they're going to stay up. And now it's the promised land. Saudi-backed owners.
But hold on, timing. Right, Eddie Howe has suffered from the same sort of syndrome, and we had to listen to that absolute rubbish from Harry Redknapp years ago. But if his name was Eduardo Suarez, he'd be managing a top side. It's foreign managers that people go for because they're ill-informed owners. The bottom line is that Eddie Howe is the beneficiary of the timing of Newcastle. Newcastle are in disarray. They didn't want Eddie Howe. They wanted Unai Emery. They couldn't get Unai Emery, so Eddie Howe is the one they've taken for. Now, if Sean Dyche had been in the marketplace, maybe at that time, Newcastle would have taken Sean Dyche.
But Martin doesn't think so.
Well,
Martin said he wouldn't get another job in the Premier
League. But that's
League.
Martin's perspective, and Martin, unless I've not seen recently, hasn't owned a football club, so he can't talk from the position of an owner. He can talk from the position of a player.
I don't know that you own a football club right now.
No, owned.
Yeah.
Owned.
What does that got to do with it?
Well, it's called experience, Martin. I couldn't tell you how to play it on the pitch because I wouldn't know.
Well, you've done that many times. But
I've given an alternative view, not told you.
I just feel this is down to perception, isn't it? So we perceive it, that Eddie Howe is this sort of cultured, intelligent, progressive manager. Sean Dyche is sort of perceived to be, 4-4-2, he's the manager of Burnley. And that's the extent of it. Now, that's unfair. So let's just see. I sincerely hope he gets another opportunity and quickly to prove that he has got the skill set to work under, different conditions. But yeah, I do feel when I look at it, it's 4-4-2. So if I look at it tactically, I'm not sure Sean Dyche is developing that well or that much, but he believes in that system. He believes in it. It's served him well, and we have to look at what he's done over the full.
He's
10
working
years.
with the tools that he's got at his disposal.
He's done an amazing job over the 10 years, and I do feel that lack of investment in the last 2 or 3 years. I know Simon's going to say something else.
See, the perception is
2 years ago they never. He was pushing back against the club. He wanted more investment. And then, of course, we haven't really heard much from that. I thought they'd bought his silence with a new contract. And he's been the company man. He's been more the company man, got on with the job, and look where it's got him.
You think they bought his silence with a new contract?
I thought that from the outside, because before that, there was a lot of energy, a lot of disquiet about his squad, the money that they had. COVID really hit them hard. They didn't want to gamble. There was a takeover taking place. There wasn't the expenditure. There wasn't the investment. And you do plan, 2 years ago, some of those signings that he wanted would be playing regularly in this team now and keeping Burnley in the Premier League.
I mean, perception is everything, and you can make the argument that I don't see that Eddie Howe is perceived as a progressive manager. I think Eddie Howe is seen as someone that produces teams that can't defend and has suffered from that particular reputation. I don't see Eddie Howe being anywhere near being indexed to big jobs. I see him falling into the same category as Sean Dyche for different reasons. I don't think it comes down to tactical perceptions. I don't think chairmen make decisions based upon tactics. They make decisions based upon people that can win football matches. And people that talk about tactics are other people. Graham Souness talks about the business of winning a football match is based upon what people doing their jobs are, and tactics are interchangeable. Now, you play with what you've got. If you give somebody a £25 million playing squad, you aren't going to have an expensive... If you give them £25-30 million a year playing budget, you're not, in terms of transfer fees, you're not going to have an expansive football team based upon interchangeable positions being able to be a fluid, balanced side. You're going to get what you get, workman players. So an owner with any savvy is going to look at what he's got. He's not going to turn around and say, this is clay, so I'll turn it into porcelain. This is what I've got. I understand what I've got. If I'm going to give my guy some tools, then I'll demand of him something different. I think Sean Dyche is a more than capable Premier League manager, and I think if he was going into somewhere like an Everton once upon a time that now Lampard's got the job, he would be David Moyes.
Well, that ship has sailed. There's David. Frank Lampard will be dancing in the street this morning. So will everybody at Everton. I mean, the others are saying this is great news for them. The others who have been in the relegation dogfight are saying this is great news. Burnley have gone.
Yeah, but let's be fair. Everton, if they stay up, they've done it by their own steam. They won't be relying on anybody else.
Yeah.
If you think about what they did last weekend against Manchester United, and you look, by the way, Everton, you say it's not done really, Jim. I mean, listen, they've got the points in the bag,
right?
And now Burnley haven't got a manager,
right?
So that really puts them in the boss seat.
But in fairness to that point, without trying to be argumentative every single thing, having been relegated from the Premier League, if you have got 24 points and 22 points and 21 points as the bottom three after 31 games in a division, you suck. This is a dreadful bottom of the Premier League. You normally get relegated on 36, 37, 38 points, not going down with 28, 29 points.
That just shows you, though, how much it's moved on, Simon, since you last were in this position.
No, it shows you how poor it is, Martin.
No, it shows you how good the Premier League is.
No, it shows you how poor the
quality teams. You push right down through that team. You look at Spurs.
You look at Everton, Leeds and Newcastle.
They're good squads. These Manchester United
6-0.
But look, Southampton still can be a decent outfit on their day.
But what we're talking about is
the calibre of the manager.
Everything
is
moves,
better since you did the job. The teams are better, the individuals, and it's tougher for that group at the bottom there.
You're in dangerous territory now.
They've only had 4 wins all season, Burnley.
Yeah,
and they still have a chance to stay up. That's how it's changed.
So the point is that Everton are going to stay up because the other 3 sides are so bad. So when we talk about you're saying that Everton are going to stay up on their own volition, I'm giving you a counter argument to that, saying actually these 3 teams are so bad, they've contributed so little to their outcome, and everything's moved on. So have the managers, so have the expenditure of the bottom 3, so has everybody moved up a level.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.